Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? M80 Mang, hope you're doing well. Sorry if I missed you. I know I started this a little bit too late, but had to get some work stuff done for my actual job. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys had a great holiday, no matter what you celebrate, if you celebrate. Regardless, I hope you guys are all doing well. We have a huge slate of boxing this weekend. I didn't realize how big the slate was until I actually sat back and started looking at the actual fights in BoxRec. Tried to avoid lines as much as I could for a little bit of tape and things of that nature. So I have a bunch of plays that I actually like, and I have one 50-50 fight coming on tomorrow that a lot of people, yeah, man, like tons of fighting, man. Hey, my brother, King of Fitness. Hope you're doing well, bro. You freaking tank. Dude's a tank, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope it was a great time with your family. Good to see everybody, man. I hope everyone's doing well, man. Alphonse here. Love your content, bro. Thank you, Alphonse. I appreciate you, man. Hope to bring you guys, some good bets this weekend, some good talks. I have a shitload of notes for the Lorenzo Parra versus Elijah Pierce fight, too, as well. So when we get a few more live viewers on, I will be busting all those notes out. I have a grip on it. I am on an island, I feel like, with the Lorenzo Parra and Elijah Pierce fight. I have to say that real quick. We smacked on that Rida card to UFC, my new favorite boxing channel. Thank you very much, M80 man. Appreciate you, man. We killed it, man. The Armand sub was absolutely awesome. The Bam Benavidez knockout parlay was just great bet, man. Great bet. It was a max bet for me. I'm a lower unit gambler, anywhere from $50 to $100. My unit size is $50. I'm building it to $100 next year, but that was a 10-unit max play for me there with the $1,000 bet. So happy for anyone that smacked on it, and I appreciate any and all trust. This Lorenzo Parra and Elijah Pierce fight is very interesting. One bet I love for this weekend, absolutely love for this weekend, Ben Whitaker over 5.5 rounds. The line is way too low for me. The German man is tough. He's sturdy. He can take a punch. He can move well. Doesn't move over extraordinarily. And the one thing about Ben Whitaker, he's okay with coasting and cooling for the first few rounds too as well. So with that being said, man, the over 5.5 for the Ben Whitaker fight is absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane. Jay-Z, hope you're doing well, mate. Hope everyone is doing well. Hello to you. Alphonse, I hope I follow you back. If I don't follow you back, let me know you're at, and I'll make sure that I do follow you back. So I try to follow back all pages that don't seem like an AI page, quite frankly. So, but that being said, y'all, let's jump into it, man. I feel like Ben Whitaker plays with his food too much. This is a perfect example of why I love this over 5.5 rounds. We're getting 5.5 rounds in a Ben Whitaker fight, even money. Ben Whitaker starts to go through the gears, definitely rounds 4 and 5 kind of goes on. He loves to dance around and play around, but the German he's fighting, man, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, man. If you go and watch his last fight where he had a 9th or a 10th round knockout. Well, let me pull up his name here so I'm not disrespecting the fighter himself. Give me one quick moment, y'all. So many fights here. No, there's actually about 4 bets that I really do like for this weekend, and I'll go over everyone. Benjamin Gavazi, man. If you go and watch his last fight versus Melancia, you did see that he got cracked with a body shot in the 3rd round here with a shovel hook that studded him a little bit. But besides that, he was extremely sturdy in this fight, had a very responsible guard. Ben Whitaker likes to leap in and out of range as compared to in this fight here. He's not going to stand and trade with the German. So I think these are a lot of factors that come to with Ben Whitaker as he's going to raise up in ranks. I think he's not going to get the stoppages, especially those 5 through 8 stoppages that he loves. You're telling me the German only has to last 5.5 rounds. I love it. Ben Whitaker plays with his food. I don't think he has the biggest pop, quite frankly. And Ben Whitaker, man, I question his gears. I've always questioned his gears. He likes to dance. He likes to pop. He likes to move. So, yeah, with that being said, I heard Jared Anderson is going to fight Frank Sanchez for the IBF Eliminator. I don't know. I saw that on Twitter, and I believe it's actually official because Sky Sports posted it. And that's the only reason. Sky Sports is definitely an outlet that I trust. Man, Jared Anderson may have met his peak, but the one thing is I don't think Frank Sanchez is as good as a lot of people see. He's susceptible to the body. He seems to get hurt early and often here. One thing, too, about with Frank Sanchez is gears. Another guy that I question his gears. He had that boogeyman status for a while, and then he ran into the real boogeyman of the division, legit Ajit Kaya Ball, who we all cracked on the Ajit Kaya Ball, gave that out on Twitter years ago. At plus 250, I believe we got Ajit at against Frank Sanchez. And the fact that we got him against Makhmudov the next fight at plus money is just chef's kiss. We're never going to get Ajit at real plus money ever again in a good fight. But Jared Anderson, I think, is actually athletic enough. If you guys watched Jared Anderson's last fight, and we're not talking about the Bakoli fight, his comeback fight against Bakoli, he almost was just checked out of that fight. His coaches were begging him to run through the gears. Like if you go and rewatch Marios Kilias, he had him hurt in the first few rounds, and then he stopped stepping on the gas. He stopped doing really anything in his fight. His coaches were literally begging him, man, do you want to be in there? Do you actually want to fight? Those are the questions I have with Jared Anderson. Is if he's going to run into a brick wall like Frank Sanchez, and we know Jared Anderson can break. We know Jared Anderson doesn't have the highest fight IQ, especially when he gets hurt, which is a big thing. These are a lot of questions here. I'm actually kind of excited to do the tape on it. At one point, Jared Anderson was the next big American heavyweight. And I think people forget how far away that was. But Frank Sanchez may actually be a good shot of a high-ranked heavyweight where Jared Anderson's athleticism, if he fights long behind the jab and he actually wants to be in there like he wasn't against Kilios, I don't know, man. I think we see Jared Anderson could possibly even win that fight. I'm curious to see what the lines are. I don't assume we're going to get a bad line on Jared Anderson. He's going to be plus money. I'm almost sure of that, but we'll have to see when it comes down to it. And Alphonse, I'll definitely be following you, brother. Yeah, let's talk about today's fights, man. So let me pull them up here for you. Let me pull up my Bet365. As of right now, I don't have any today's action. So I'll tell you, Hans History Volt, I will tell you, man, I'm getting a lot of spam in the chat. A lot of spam in the chat. What is up with this? Are we to the point where we're getting the AI spam in the chat? Like, what are we doing right now? So I don't know, man. I just feel like we're getting because I'm getting a lot of like weird, like, you guys should see some of the comments on my side. Let me know. So who's the IBF champ now? Usyk. Yeah, Usyk's only not the, what is it, WBA or WBC, because they did the bullshit where they made him relinquish it. But Usyk was undisputed. So yeah, like this is the spam I'm getting in the chat, y'all. Like this is what we're getting here. So you guys don't see this. Here you go, subscription finger red 1. Like that's like the spam I'm kind of getting. But anyway, Hans History Vault, what's up, my brother? Hope you're doing well. Love it when you're in the actual chat. There are so many fights this weekend. Let me pull up the apps so we can is that what it is? Is it the IBF that he's vacating? Is it the because Usyk as of right now is the actual official holder. I know that there's going to be the thing where sanctioning bodies, due to the rotation timing of the sanctioning bodies, he's going to have to either walk away from one or vacate one. And I don't know if it's the IBF one, but for the IBF, it is Usyk, or I believe it was, unless I'm tripping, but almost positive here for it. Oh, yes. I was talking to my boy Kiza this morning about this. Frank Clark versus Frazier versus TKV. I love that fight to go the distance, man. I love that fight to go the distance. I've never been overly impressed with Frazier Clark here for you. He can drag out fights, even though he does have some one-punch pop. And TKV is just so willing to bounce on his toes, stay on the outside, and try to fight lighter than he actually is. I like that fight to go to the distance. Let's see here. I don't see it. Maybe YouTube blocks it for us. Well, that's good then that you guys are actually getting blocked from the spam, because I'm getting a lot of like comments that are actually throwing me off and my numbers are jumping in and out all crazy. King of Fitness, over 7.5, Clark TSA, agreed. I think that fight goes to the decision. Hennessy decision, don't have any tape on that fight. Vuong decision, this is a fight I want to talk to you guys, all you boxing pundits, about, because I think Vuong could actually get a stoppage in this one here. I think Vuong's going to be growing fight over fight. I believe he's taking Davison in his corner for this one, who could make a lot of adjustments. The body work early in the fight was few and far in between for Vuong, but if he continues to stay on that body, I think he can get a later stoppage of Gwyn, even though Gwyn's a tough customer. Whitaker, I'm deciding between knockout or an over 5.5 because he did stop Cameron under. So Whitaker, King of Fitness, if I can give you my personal opinion, I like Whitaker decision at plus 3-1 odds. I think that's actually a really good play. Plus 3-1. The German is tough as nails, man. Go and watch his last fight against Melancina, who He gets hurt to the body early in rounds 3 or 4, but that's the only time he gets hurt. He's responsible. He fights well with his hands, good guard, and decent feet too as well. He's a good customer. So I like Whitaker by decision at plus 300. The knockout odds, I would never bet Ben Whitaker by knockout. It minus 200 odds. You'll just be clenching your cheeks and being pissed off when he's not going through the gears rounds 8 through 10 and doing a bunch of dancing and fainting, doing a bunch of bullshit capoeira out there. Love the Ben Whitaker over 5.5. That is, to me, is like the fact you're giving us a Ben Whitaker line against a tough customer at over 5.5. Someone that in my tape of the German didn't get dropped, just kind of got hurt. Which I only did tape his last 2 fights too as well. So I want to be very clear and transparent. Love the over 5.5. I think Ben Whitaker at plus 3-1 odds by decision is sneaky as hell. And I'm definitely going to be playing that. I love that. I love Clark TKV to go to decision. I love Clark TKD to go to decision. Mar, salute my brother. Hope you're doing well. We can never forget UK refs when it comes to these UK fights. That's also why I like Cameron Vuong, possibly by stoppage over Gwynn. I know that's the unpopular opinion, but in rematches, how many times do we see the younger fighter make adjustments and go through the gears and just do better? If Vuong stays on that body earlier and often, I think he can actually get a stoppage of Gwynn personally. Floyd, yes, sir. I do see Ben Whitaker by decision. I love it at plus 3-1 odds. I absolutely love it at 3-1 odds. I love that fight to go to decision. The German is tough, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name, guys. I'm just horrible with names, so I'm just going to call him the German. He's tough as shit, man. Good sturdy base, good shell, and good guard. Ben Whitaker plays with his food and likes to dance around and bounce around too much. He's so slow and can be countered. Who is slow and can be countered? Because I just realized I just rattled off a grip of names. Vuong Gwynn is a rematch. Good fight to watch first time. I didn't really think Vuong really struggled. I just feel like all the things that he did well, which were the angle off, straight left hand, and the body work, I feel like he really got away from in the fight as it went against. Salute, BB. My man, Mar. Appreciate you always jumping in. Day one, my man. The German. I'm just going to call him the German. Gavazi. All right, Gavazi. That's not too hard. So Gavazi, he is slow and can be countered, but he's sturdy and he's tight. That's the biggest thing. And if you're going to take Whitaker by stoppage, why not take Whitaker by stoppage 6 through 10? I don't think Whitaker is going to get him out of there early. I think Liam Cameron had a lot going on in the second fight going into it. And I think one thing that no one ever talks about too with rematches, fighters find their timing from the first fight. Infinite Gamer, hi, hope you're doing well. Hopefully, if you're a real person, let me know if you're a real person. If you're spamming, hi. But fighters find their timing in the second matchup. So Ben Whitaker and Liam Cameron, when I rewatched their first fight, I actually did this in a group study in the Johnny Says Boxing Discord. I thought Ben Whitaker didn't struggle with Liam Cameron as much as my live eyes saw it. And then the second fight, I felt like he really found, no, if you're a real person, it seems like you're a real person because you're responding. So shout out. But with that being said, Ben Whitaker really found the timing in the second fight against Liam Cameron and got him out of there early. Could have been an early stoppage, but I thought he would have shown him the door regardless. All of that being said, Ben Whitaker does play with his food. He does take some rounds to find the timing of his opponents. So if you're going to give me, in my personal opinion, how I see it going, you can always hedge with a Ben Whitaker rounds 1 through 2 knockout. But if I think Ben Whitaker is going to take anywhere from 3 to 4 rounds to get going, getting the stab jab going, getting the feet going, trying to actually break open the German, Gavazi, then you're already giving me 3 or 4 of those 5.5 rounds off rips. And he doesn't really start going through the gears in the tape that I see anywhere from 3 to 5, or I'm like 3 to 5 and so on and so forth. And a tough German who I don't think will be stopped that early, 5.5, barely a half a round past half a fight over Ben Whitaker, whose power is overrated in my personal opinion. He has great punch selection and great timing, but super overrated power. Yeah, man, I'm going to stab that at even money all day. Absolutely love that. Would you par? Okay, so my betting style, Floyd, is I'm not really huge on parlays unless I did what I did last week. Bam knockout and Benavidez knockout because I felt super confident in both of them. And at plus 137, I had to take it. I would play Ben by decision straight because the number is so good. And what is Vuong's number by stoppage? Like I said, when I was cracking tape this week, I tried not to look at the betting odds because I didn't want to sway anything here. That's big on my Elijah Pierce Parra fight. I'll be talking about that since there's enough people here too as well. Let me see here. Let me go find these odds here for Vuong. What is Vuong's stoppage? Because I'm playing Ben Whitaker by decision at +3-1 odds, regardless. I'm playing the over at 2 units. I'm going to put $100 on it at even money, over 5.5. Vuong by stoppage at +300. Oh, hell yeah. Playing that straight. And if you are a parlay better and you want to get the juicier odds, I wouldn't doubt sprinkling a little tenor on that, because you're getting +300 both ways is going to equal like to a +1900 parlay. Love it, man. Actually, that is not a bad parlay. I think Vuong's going to find his timing. All right, so since my boy Mar the Prince is here, we're going to talk about, I'm going to read you all of my notes for Pierce Parra here, and then we'll talk about Jacone Yakubov. Yakubov, man. Fuck, man. I don't know why I took Foster over Yakubov in his last one. All right, everybody. So forgive me for ranting now, because what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to read all my notes for Lorenzo Parra versus Elijah Pierce, which is going to be a long rant because I have a lot of notes. I didn't use the old school pen and paper. I actually used my phone this time, which has actually been making it easier for me to read because I have shitty handwriting. So forgive me for the next 4 to 8 minutes while I read nothing but boxing notes, y'all. And if you want to talk more so in the comment section, please come back in about 4 to 8 minutes because I'm going to be reading a lot of notes. Let's start off with Lorenzo Parra versus Jay Wood Pop. Parra stationary feet early round 1. Decent upper body movement, good straight punches to the body, long sweeping shots. Loves the right hand to set up the overhand left. Right hand to the body, to set up the overhand left. Loves the dip overhand left. Holds the ring, but not great at jockeying for foot position. Parra is super susceptible to the left hand to the body. Pop was digging the left hand on the inside. Drops his guard hand and exits with his chin high. You see that in round 1, 18 seconds through 10 seconds. Was getting tagged with the lead left hand by Wood. Parra consistently is turned. He's consistently being turned by his opponent. Parra can thump. You really see this in round 2, 1 minute and 48 seconds. Wood shakes his head from a straight left hand and is followed by a succession of left hands. He's a sticky inside body puncher. I absolutely love when he was punching with Wood. He was, instead of pausing and taking pictures. He can fight at different heights and levels, though he does pull back with his chin high and he pulls back in straight lines. Parra is a bully, likes to be the bully in there, does not like to be bullied back. Doesn't change his punch speed and punch speed. He's consistently on the same punch speed, but he has really good solid volume. He lacks responsible entrances, but I think he's super effective at banging the drum. If you don't know what I mean by that, I mean beating up the body with both hands. Dare I say he has a little bit of Subriel Matias to him, who, if you guys don't know, is one of my favorite fighters. Free my boy Subriel. I feel like he could have finished Pop if he changed his punch speed and variation, especially round 3. Wood had the lights on, but no one was home. Again, Parra thumps. His feet aren't great. He doesn't have a great job at cutting off the ring, but his tracking shots are really good. He's good at finding opponents when they're with sweeping hands as they're exiting either right or left. He can pull out of the pocket irresponsibly. See round 5, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know where I wrote kite. Straight shots down the pipe from his corner. I don't know what I meant there. He beat up Pop in rounds 2 through 4 really bad, but he may have burned out his gas tank a little bit because he lost his shape in rounds 5. Had a strong last minute of round 6. Closed round 7 with a great body jab, 1-2, hurting Wood. Great boxing sequence. I think round 7, 1 minute and 45 seconds is actually his best sequence. Jab, sweeping left hand, straight right hands to the body. Don't know how this fight even went to overtime. The only rounds I gave Pop were rounds 1 and rounds 5. Parra is a can crusher completely up until this point, and I do question his gas tank. His fight versus Trinidad, great kinetic chain punching, great jab to the body, good fight over fight improvements because he was entering more responsibly. He fought off his jab, got his head off a line. He could be a bit reactive. He was reacting to Trinidad's feints early and often, and he continued to react to them all fight. Showed some back foot fighting variation in round 3, jabbing off the back foot, pulling Trinidad into some uppercuts. Again, Parra is very hittable to the body, not so much up top, even though he is, I wouldn't say he's very defensively responsible. Ate a few uppercuts by Trinity on the inside, reset from different distance at mid-range, and fired off while stepping off. Really good mid-range fighter. I'd like to see Parra mid-range fight this fight a lot compared to Pierce. Again, I felt Parra was losing his shape a bit, getting a little bit sloppy as the fight went on. Will clinch when things get uncomfortable. I love his body work. Good body jab, shovel hooks, and uppercut variation with both hands to the body. Pulled Omar into a right hand in round 8 with 1 minute and 45 seconds. That shows his levels of going both forward and backward. He ran in with his chin down and ate an uppercut in round 10 with 1 minute and 16 seconds left. Left hand to the body, overhand right combination. Like I said in his last fight, he loves this combination. He cracks it, and it's going to be there for Elijah Pierce to be hit with too as well. Stepped in on Omar and fired off on the inside foot. Did not hesitate when his feet were lined up. Again, his cardio, I question his cardio, and I question his shape as the fight goes on. Any comments before I jump to the Elijah Pierce section now of my notes? I know I just rambled there. I know it's alive. I'm so sorry for rambling, and I will catch up with all comments after. But specifically, those are my notes on Lorenzo Parra. I think I'm actually going to clip them from this live and post them on my YouTube. I think that would actually be a good idea to get a little content out. Now, Elijah Pierce. Have to go between the coffee and the water because my throat's scratching. Pause. San Martin fight. By the way, this was such a fun tape study for me. Lorenzo Parra and Elijah Pierce both go to war, and I love both of these tape studies. Round one, solid jab, both jousting and stationary. Zero head movement, but damn, can he change his punch speed, his volume, and he really punches it different. He really changes his punch speed and his volume. I love how he changes his power, and he throws different types of punches. Doesn't keep it at the same volume and pace. Man, his lack of head movement is absolutely insane. He was getting cracked multiple times this whole fight by San Martin. He can defensively shift and cut off angles. Does a great job at turning his opponents. Round two, he overcommitted and threw himself off balance. You see it at 2 minutes and 38 seconds and 2 minutes and 45 seconds to start the round. He jockeys well for foot position, but chooses to trade on the inside. Good frames on the inside. Solid shovel hook, uppercut variation of the body, just like Parra. He dropped San Martin and was robbed of this drop in round four at 1 minute and 45 seconds. The referee called it a low blow, which this referee sucks ass. You saw him in the Lorenzo Parra fight too as well. Do a horrible job and allowed a pop to survive. I don't remember exactly why he stopped Lorenzo Parra from coming at him, but absolutely insane, man. Ref robbed him of this knockdown. Again, Elijah Pierce is so hittable. Very susceptible to the body. Very susceptible to sweeping hands, which Parra is great at throwing. Often negative with his back against the ropes. Doesn't have great feet. Crosses his feet, collapses his feet, brings them together, which causes his pop to come off. He also leaves his back foot when he's throwing power shots at times, which I hate. He can move laterally and shift and turn his opponents. Incredible hand speed. I think he's going to have the way better hand speed against Parra in this case. His same side punching. I love his same side punching. We're going to see him in the Das Marinas fight too as well with the same side punching. Same side punching with the lead hands. Round three had great combinations. Now, this is funny when I noted this. Against San Martin, I said, good chin. He was getting hit with bombs. Hilarious for the next two fights of tape. Round eight were strange. Pierce had pockets of looking strong and active and other pockets of looking labored and almost checked out, throwing sloppy arm punches. His cardio looked fine, but it definitely looked strange. Could have had an adrenaline dump with a non-called knockdown, but I do love that Pierce has gears and he goes for the gears. Villanueva fight, which is hilarious. He got dropped comically in this fight. Lined up the left hand and capitalized on it. Good bounce, good step, very springy, very athletic. Too many moments of leaning square over his hips. Pierce can get hit to the body, but he loves to return every time he does get hit to the body. Controlled the real estate often poking low and high against Villanueva. Loves when he digs to the body. I'll say it time and time again. He's a great body puncher. Both of these fighters are absolutely great body punchers. Great examples of when he can turn. He had his back against the ropes in round two with 1 minute and 48 seconds or 18 seconds. He dips under Villanueva and dips under his back shoulder. Very impressive. He gets caught walking in so irresponsibly behind a guard, literally walking in, caught with a 1-2 down the pipe and gets knocked out of the ring by Villanueva. A comical knockdown. He clinched and recovered, and he didn't really engage, but he really got his wits back about him. Consistently dropping his hand, loves a modified defensive shell, which isn't necessarily great. Has some good defensive catch and shoot to him. Punches himself square, especially throwing the left hand. See round 3, 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Pulls you into uppercuts, have great uppercuts with both hands. I find it interesting that Pierce is so good at pivoting and turning his opponents, but he's often square and often crossing his feet and bringing his feet together. He leaves his base when he's punching too much. He will literally float his back foot off the canvas when throwing. Round 3, see 1 minute and 8 seconds. Of course, see 1 minute and 8 through 0:45 seconds where he's literally leaving his back foot often. Covers ground well, has great gears and great killer instinct. Das Marina fight, not as important to tape, even though it is important because he gets dropped here, but it's southpaw versus southpaw. Load hand, irresponsible exit, dropped in round 1 with zero setup, literally just leaping in. Pierce recovers well from being dropped. There's an athleticism gap in this fight here, but I don't think he's as athletic as he likes to make himself seem. Same issues fight over fight. Low hands, no head movement, no respect for his opponent. As the fight progresses, though, he does oddly parry some fights and tries to play that catch and shoot game. Consistent body work, which will be a key against Parra. I love when he uses an inside shoulder frame and bounces and fights on the inside. Great left hand to the solar plex, as we saw drop San Martin, which it was robbed of. And in this fight here, he caught multiple shots to the solar plex. Last 30 seconds of round 6 in this fight are the epitome of Pierce as a fighter. Hands down, walking forward, getting cracked, but exchanging good offense. 1-1-2, rip to the body, all while entering with 0 setup. If you were to watch Pierce's upper body, you would think he has amazing movement, but then you look at his feet and how it crosses, it's insane. Round 8, minute 54 seconds left, shoulder frame to right hand. Pierce does a great job punching down on his opponents when his opponents are crouched, which is going to be important because Parra likes to change levels. And I think Elijah Pierce has incredible success as the later fight goes on, especially as fighters get to go slow and sloppy. Same side punching, which I brought up in the San Martin fight, is what set up the knockdown in round 9. Right hook to the body with the same right hook over top, landed at 2 minutes 45 seconds. Hurt Das Marine at 1 minute and 58 seconds, and then ultimately finished the job in 1 minute and like 12 seconds. So how do I see this fight going since I just ranted completely? If you guys saw my Twitter post, I already posted it on Twitter, but I'll just read you the note that I posted on Twitter. Ultimately, how I see Pierce versus Parra going, and after talking to Chilltown, talking a little bit with Narco Cop, and seeing Gary's post, I'm a little bit worried about my pick. A true battle of offense first and defensive optional here. Parra is the bigger thumper, bigger fighter, and will hold a strong physicality edge. Parra can fight better at multiple ranges and has sneaky punch selection. His cardio and base seem to fade, which is strange for a fighter that slow builds into a fight after slow round ones. His left hand to the right overhand combination is money, and it will be there to be defensively tagged on for a defensively void Elijah. Pierce has 0 head movement and has been dropped 2 or 3 fights, one comically versus Villanueva, but Pierce throws higher volume, is gritty, and has great recovery and continues to push the pace, evens rounds 8 through 12. I love his killer instinct. He does constantly cross his feet and collapse his base, causing for a lack of shots that should be hurting his opponents. Parra can't cut off the ring to save his life, but has good tracking shots. Pierce has an underrated ability to turn fighter at even angles, even with mediocre feet. Early on, I think the power, the relentlessness, and the body work will cause issues for Elijah. I think Parra will be on him early. But the later the fight goes on, I really do favor Elijah Pierce in this just because I think he has the superior body punching. I think there are holes in Parra's gas tank. I didn't know this. This fight is contested at 126 pounds. I thought it was at 122. Lacking hole in my research here. Overall, man, I like the pressure. I like the pressure. I like the pace. I like the volume, and I like the inside of Elijah Pierce. I'm sprinkling the draw at plus 1,400. I'm taking Elijah Pierce pre-fight at plus 200, and I'll be watching this fight live. If you were on Lorenzo Parra, his knockout at plus 500 is absolutely incredible, y'all. So if you're still here with me, please let me know in the comments. That's my overall thoughts. I think Elijah Pierce decision plus 200 pre-flop. I'm sprinkling the draw. And if you like Lorenzo Parra by knockout, plus 500 is insane. How to watch Samuel Molina fight. Boss Marv, can you explain what you mean by that? Are you saying, because doesn't he Samuel Molina fight Mean Machine this weekend? Let's see here, which I think Mean Machine's gonna box the shit out of Samuel Molina, personally. And I think that there's also that the fact that it's also going to be in Mean Machine's hometown too as well, or not hometown, his home country. So I think there's just a lot of factors, and I think Samuel Molina fights a lot of people tough, fights a lot of people close here, as we saw with the John Fernandez fight in Spain, and he was willing to travel anywhere. But I don't think there's a huge athleticism gap. I don't think Samuel Molina is that great at covering ground, and I think he's going to get hurt as he enters ground on Mean Machine. So is it today? I don't even have lines on literally any of my books, maybe Bet365, but ESPN Bet doesn't have it, I don't believe. Let me go check if FanDuel has it. Yeah, so personally, I think Mean Machine, man. I think Mean Machine. Yo, Ryan, hope you're doing well. I think Mean Machine over Molina here. Molina's good, man, and he's willing to travel anywhere, and there could be the case with Mean Machine that he ages overnight. He's the bigger thumper. I don't think there's a huge athleticism gap, and I don't think Samuel Molina throws out enough volume for me to feel confident in him. So, and if I'm not mistaken, man, why am I having such a mind block here? Let me go and look at this here. I was going to say something else, but I just literally lost it. Yeah, I'll still take Mean Machine, and he could age overnight. So that's one thing to take into note. Man, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I have zero interest in that fight, King of Fitness, just because I hate Molly McCann's an MMA fighter, a grappling MMA fighter. Like, oh man, I don't even know what we're doing here. I've never, honestly, let me see if I've even seen Ebony Cotton fight here. Let me go to her box rec really quickly. I've never seen her fight, and she went to points with someone that's 0-17. So this just seems like a clear setup match for Molly McCann to get a knockout. I have zero interest in watching a grappler such as Molly McCann boxing. Like, I just hate to say it. And I'm a grappler. So I'm literally wearing my high roller shirt, dog. Shit, repping, always repping. But was going to be a 10-rounder, but Molina decided to put up his belt. I mean, that just shows how confident Molina is, though. That's one thing. And a confident fighter is something that's really important. One thing I didn't note about Elijah Pierce versus Parra, too, as well, is he went over and he was sparring with guys like Nishida, and he's sparring with guys like Julius Bello. I take that highly into consideration. Do we know who Lorenzo Parra is actually sparring right now? And some people don't seem to think that Parra's cardio and shape and conditioning is not as big of a deal as I think it is. But man, I really feel like he starts looking sloppy as the later the fight goes on. And thank you guys, if you're still here, for listening to me read all those notes. I know that was probably not the most efficient way to get my notes out. I should have actually just done an actual breakdown. But yeah, I mean, guys, if you guys, my favorite streaming platform is boxingstreams.me or boxingstream.me. So here are the 3 best boxing stream platforms that I've had. Like, if you're just going to, stream it and pirate it, hopefully this doesn't get me flagged. Who cares if it does? I'm not monetized anyways. Boxingstreams.me is super solid. A sleeper one is the tvapp.to, the tvapp.to, where they have the pay-per-view section. And VIP Row Sports always seems to work really well with me. VPN helps a lot too as well, if you can utilize different types of space too as well. Do heavyweights and boxing gas like heavyweights and MMA? This is why I think it goes the distance. It's going to be a good... No, I mean, it just kind of depends on the heavyweight, right? Like, I mean, even I thought like Makhmudov was bound to gas against Dave Allen, but hell, he hasn't. No, I think heavyweight boxers are in far better shape than heavyweight MMA fighters. I just also think the lower level, this could be unpopular, the lower level of MMA is so sloppy compared to the lower level of boxing and heavyweight. And that's not the case for all weight classes. But when it comes to heavyweight boxing, I'd rather watch lower level boxing at heavyweight division than the MMA division, or in MMA, I'm sorry. And absolutely not. I don't think boxers gas as bad as low level MMA fighters. Like, man, what was that fight that opened up the card? Freeman versus old boy that got cut last week. That shit sucked for MMA if you're watching. Molina said he could have fought someone else in his hometown. He says he wants to face the best and get to a world ranking. He sees Mean Machine as a stepping stone. Man, all this talk making me... I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes beyond the tape, confidence is huge. Like, beyond the tape, sometimes confidence is absolutely huge. Let me see if Bet365, because if Bet365 doesn't have it, that just means I can't bet on it in my state. That's all it means. So I need to go see, bro. Like, I need to go see this really quickly. Especially if the odds are worth it, man. Just that in his back pocket. And Mean Machine, like I brought up, could age overnight. That's one thing that, yeah, they don't even have it. They don't have it on any books for me here. They don't have it on FanDuel, ESPN Bet. They don't have it on Bet365. I refuse to use offshores. So, yeah, so I oddly think that Cameron Vong, if this is a big thing and it's a live bet spot for me, it kind of reminds me in what happened with me with Vito Mia and Milanecki. By the way, we called Vito Milanecki on the last one, y'all, by knockout. Big shout out, y'all. We called that Vito Milanecki by knockout. If he's consistently punching the body, if he's consistently going to the body early and often, which he was doing early in the last fight, but he really strayed away from against Gavin Gwynn, and he comes in with a really good game plan against Davison, I think Cameron Vong's going to have the timing on Gwynn. I think he's going to be ready to get underneath the shots and rip open the body, and I think he gets it done somewhere with a body shot. I like the odds, and I could be being swayed after seeing them at plus 300. I like the odds here, man, and I'm big on younger fighters, already built the base and the timing from their last fight, coming in now with possibly a better game plan. We'll see how Davison does in this case here. I like Cameron Wynn by knockout. I wouldn't touch him by decision. That, to me, those odds are absolutely insane. I have a different betting style than a lot of people. I won't play anything that's really a minus 200 or below, unless, again, it's like Benavidez, bam, knockout, which is like, come on. You only have to watch a tape and a half of that to understand that these guys are going to fucking knock out Puma and knock out Benavidez. People online were actually arguing that Anthony Yard was going to go to decision with David Benavidez. Like, you didn't even, I hate to say it, guys, you didn't have to watch tape to know that wasn't going to be the case. One dude that has incredible gears versus one dude that has zero gears. Or Puma. And like I said on last week's call, I literally said if Puma and Bam fought 100 times, Bam stops him 90 of those 100 times. Puma enters so irresponsibly. He's willing to trade. He's getting dropped by South Africans in round 11 that can't punch for shit. Like, it's just a whole bunch. It's just a lot of things, man. And that was just a pointless rant right there. But sometimes you can just watch tape and know. Now, this Cameron Vuong decision, knockout's not one of those cases. I just think the younger fighter is going to build as the fight goes on. If Davison comes in with a smart game plan, I think he gets win out of there. So, do you think TKV Adelaide fight would go the difference if the cheap shot didn't happen? Probably, but Adelaide the reason I like Adelaide fights always to go the distance, honestly, is I don't find him an athletic specimen, and he is such a gas bag. That was such a crazy ending of that fight. That was like a UK ref special, the way that fight ended, man. An absolute UK ref special. But TKV, Fraser Clark by points. Oh, I didn't even tell you who I think wins, by the way. I think Fraser Clark really nips his way to a 97-93 decision, like a pretty clear 97-93, 98-92 decision over TKV. I am not impressed with TKV whatsoever. He's more of a name. I swear the fact that he has that name. Mar, you have my absolute word by this, just so you know. I will be guaranteed no bullshit. And you know what? When I give the guarantee, I don't bullshit. I will be dropping a Roach Cruz prediction, guaranteed, like an actual official boxing breakdown. I was going to do Janabek Laura, but I feel like I just have one-way traffic on how I think that fight's really going to go down. And I will be doing a Fulton Foster guaranteed 2 predictions. I love the Cool Boy Foster fight so much. It's my favorite fight at the end of the year, actually. I love Cool Boy versus Foster. I'm so stoked on that fight. But you have my guarantee. I will be dropping a Roach Cruz prediction and a Foster Fulton prediction, and I will do my best to at least drop 3 predictions. Now that my face is healed up, now that school semester's back ended, I'm ready to get real good content out, get back to just the flow of it, man. I do it for the love of the game, man. I'm not trying to be like a huge high level content creator, but those are 2 fights I have to get out 2 official predictions for you. And UFC 232. Let's pull up that card right now and chop up a little MMA. Well, let's talk a little boxing for the boxing heads first, and then we'll talk a little MMA. But yes, I will have content for 323. Would you be interested, Mar, actually, if I brought on another MMA guest and we just kind of did a full MMA show and I can drop his actual show? If you guys are interested in it, please let me know. Hey, Boxing Wiz, that's actually, I took Pierce, just so you know, man. I took Pierce actually by decision, plus 200. I'm sprinkling the draw. I know a lot of people, you think he gets upset, and I understand why people like that. Like, I'm on an island here. Chilltown likes Parra. I don't want to give away. I guess I mean, Chilltown likes Parra. Narco likes Parra. Gary likes Parra. I'm on a true island. And when that happens, I always tell people go with the boxing community. Trust the boxing community. My opinion is just because I like the later gears of Pierce specifically, but that's just my personal opinion. And I think Parra, his shape, how he slows down. But damn, Pierce is so defensively void, man. He gets cracked. Parra can be turned. So many angles to this fight. And that's why I also like the draw as a true sprinkle. Clark TKV is a 12-rounder, mate. Isn't a 12-rounder. It still doesn't. I thought it was a 10-rounder. I'm not going to lie. But it still doesn't change my thoughts on it. I think Fraser Clark wins by points. Thank you for telling me that too as well. Thank you for telling me that. And I've never been impressed with TKV's work. Love Ben Whitaker by decision this week. I love Ben Whitaker by decision. I think Gavazi is tough. Yes, he's slow and can be cracked and countered. Shout out my boy King of Fitness. But I think Ben Whitaker by decision is a good play here. I think the German is tough. I think he's sturdy. The over 5.5 rounds to me is a great play. It's almost a smash spot. Almost a smash spot, because if you like Ben Whitaker, get it done by knockout, you play Ben Whitaker later rounds 6 through 10. That's how I like that. I try to stay away from betting heavyweight fights. I like Clark to win, though. Yeah, I also think betting heavy on MMA, on heavyweight fights, like, I mean, in terms of high units, I have learned, because I got burned hard by Dave Allen. I did a 4-unit play on Dave Allen, and that burned me pretty hard that weekend. And then I was resorting to chasing and such, which is never a good play. So yeah, I've learned my lesson when it comes to low-level women's boxing, heavyweight boxing, and quite frankly, just any fight that I don't have over amount of tape. So, hey, salute to you, brother. I appreciate you very much, man. Thank you for sub. Appreciate you, mate. Roach points, Janabek decision is stinker after watching Tates. It's 2 guys who wait to counter. Nah, I think Janabek is going to meet. That's the thing, man, is I think Janabek's going to run through Lara. I think we're going to see, even though it's not the same fight, it's not the same fight. I think it's very similar. What's going to happen? Benavidez versus Yard is going to be Janabek versus Lara. I think Janabek's going to run through Lara like a cheap hooker. I really do, man. Janabek's the truth. Janabek's pound for pound. I'm just going to say it. If he wasn't in one of the shittiest divisions in boxing with no contenders, Janabek's pound for pound. Janabek's a tough fight for Bud, too. I'm just going to say it. Man. Janabek's like that. And he's going to run through Lara. He's going to smoke through Lara. After he did that Frenchman the last time, the Frenchman who was fighting on his back foot, waiting the whole fight, the minute Janabek decided to go through the gears, he killed that man. On the flip side, heavyweight MMA and women's MMA has been best for me. That's insane. That is insane to me. I have a rule where if I'm not betting the dog on women's MMA, I almost stay away from it completely. Heavyweight MMA, I can never get a gauge on. I get toast on heavyweight MMA. Lord, I get toast on heavyweight MMA. In general, I get toast on MMA. I had Alex Perez last week, and he gets caught with that crazy random gilly that just should not have happened, man. Like, shooting with his head so far on the outside is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Like, true white belt shot at that point. I got toast, and there was one more fight. Oh, and I took Old Boy by knockout round 1 when I could have took him by sub round 1. So I just don't know, man. Like, I got absolutely cooked. I'm trying to see here. Let me pull up what there was one more MMA I got cooked on last week. No, because I won on Nicholas Dalby and I absolutely hammered Horiguchi live, man. I absolutely hammered Horiguchi live. So I'm trying to pull up that MMA card. You think there's a chance? Well, where the chances is Frank's a few thing about Ghost, my boy Ghost here, former wrestler. Love my grapplers, baby. What's up? Wrestlers unite. With that being said, though, Frank's moving up in weight, so there will be a size disparity, but the athleticism gap is huge for Frank Martin. He's good at moving in and out, and he's good. One thing I love about Frank Martin, I think he cuts off the ring so well, man. So well. I don't think, I mean, there's always a chance it's boxing, right? I don't think there's, I think Frank's going to beat the shit out of Bartholomew, maybe even get a stoppage. I think Frank took the right amount of time off to heal. He's been in the gym actually working. I love Frank Martin in this case here. I've never been a huge fan of Bartholomew. In that Ramirez fight, dude, he looked slow, off the pace, willing to fight against the back foot fighter, man. The minute that Frank starts to enter, it's over, man. I don't have full on tape. I just want to say, Mar, too, as well. This is coming off of what I think about both fighters. I will actually crack some tape as the weeks go on, too, as well. Wait, that's actually next week, isn't it? Do I even have time? I'll have time to crack some tape. I love watching Frank Martin fight, personally. Love Janabek, too, more physical Bivol. I just love the way he fights, man. Love the way he moves. There's always a chance in boxing, too, as well, as you know, Mar, for an upset. I just think the Ghost is going to be too athletic, too springy, too spry. And I think 140 pounds is going to do him really well for his body, man. He's a physical fighter. I think he was killing himself to make 135 anyways. So love Janabek, man. He's just such a good fighter. I like Roach, Janabek, Apatow for like minus 130. Roach plus Janabek is minus 141 total. Check. And I saw a Roach line move from minus 240 to minus 260. See, I am being completely honest with you, man. I'm on the fence here. A lot of people I trust, shout out my big dog Guru. He really likes Roach. He thinks he told me it's very similar to the Alvarado fight, the Rene Alvarado fight here in this case here, where I think Cruz is going to be a bit more physical than Alvarado and definitely more pressure and pace. I'm curious to see how he feels with the head on the inside. I will have that breakdown. It's Friday now. I plan on having Roach Cruz out by Sunday, and I plan on having Fulter Foston out by Tuesday. So by Sunday, I'll have my full tape by Cruz. And then Fulton Foster, I'll have my full tape by Tuesday. Have them both dropped. I'm very stoked for this week, man. Super stoked. So I don't want to give a full read on Roach. Janabek stops Lara. Very confident in it. Apatow stops Schnurka at any point that he wants to. Literally, I think he gets it done early. If you can get on Bet365, Apatow and knockout under 7.5 rounds, I wouldn't doubt if he smokes him in 3. Like, Schnurka is so hittable. He's plotting. He moves forward. Apatow has those crazy eyes. Yeah, man, he's going to stop him early and often. I can't say I like Roach yet, but I love Janabek Apatow early stoppage. I mean, quite frankly, you just take Apatow stoppage, not even his money line, just take his stoppage because it will happen. And then you can add it to any parlay you want, which I don't really ever give that type of advice, but you can. I feel favorites and women as they are safer because they're less likely to get KO'd, and heavyweight fighters have significant holes in their games. Yeah, heavyweight MMA, man, just burns my brain, burns my betting account. I'm genuinely curious, like good MMA. I remember hitting on against Juliana Miller. One of my favorite fighters to bet against is Juliana Miller. I remember hitting Veronica Hardy at like plus 300 to 1 because that was like a huge mismatch. But besides that, I can't even, and that was years ago. I can't even think of how much success I've actually had against women's MMA here. Reason I say decision, watch the Denzel Bentley fight. Got you. I will go watch and rewatch that fight specifically. I'll hit you up on Instagram too as well about it. The actual decision on that one specifically. I just think also, there is one thing I always bring up, man. Fighters can age overnight. Is Lara 38 years old? Is he 40 years old? How old is Alessandro Lara, man? No, he's like one of the older. 42 years old, brother. Man, bro. It's going to be over a year and a half since he's been out of the ring. Played Chev minus 220, got inside his favorite plays, no sweat. I also played Valentina literally the minute the fight and they met in the middle and she was minus 135. I had to take it because I was like, oh, Zhang's gonna have a lot of hard time with these entrances and the pure physicality. Also played Yukayev under 1.5 and under half round. The under half round was such a smash spot. The fact that I took him round 1 knockout, horrendous. Let's pull up UFC 323 actually. Am I crazy to think that Merab, even though he's pace, pressure, cardio, always in camp, he's eventually going to be due for a loss, y'all? I'm just genuinely curious when it's going to be. Merab, if he beats Piotr in this fight here, does he solidify himself as the absolute bantamweight GOAT? This is something that I'm genuinely curious. Does Merab solidify himself? Yeah, in Cuban years might be older. And brother, you know he was born in a lab, quite literally born in a lab. Merab's just been going so hard, consistently hard forever. Eventually, we're going to have to see him lose. Dude fought literally in October. Like, am I crazy to think that Piotr Jan has an upset shot here? Am I crazy to think that even after the first fight? Like, there's going to be a point. I don't know when it's going to be. It'll probably be the next Umar fight if him and Umar meet again. There's going to be a point where Merab is not going to have the same 40-plus takedowns that he can have every fight. He's getting older. You said it best, redlining his body. He's just consistently training at a high pace. Dude, he just fought 2 months ago. Do I think he wins this fight? Yes. But is Piotr working the dog shot? I don't know, man. I don't think the cut is good from Robbie. I don't either, bro. He's sturdy, bro. He is a sturdy dude. And he's consistently grappling with bigger fighters. It's just insane, man. I think Josh Van's being slightly disrespected against Pantoja too, man. Pantoja has a tendency to gas as the fight goes later, even though he fights through his own gas. Josh Van rips holes in the body, punches holes in your gas tank. Josh Van is one hell of an anti-grappler. His hips are so good. Instant sprawls, amazing instant underhooks. Man, I'm excited for open mat tonight, y'all. Super excited for that. Dude, Josh Van is an amazing anti-grappler. Pantoja will have some good early rounds. I think you can play this fight really one of two ways. I think you can take Pantoja submission under 2.5 rounds. Let's go create that parlay actually, y'all. Let's go see what these lines are looking like here. Let's go create this parlay on Bet365 here, man. I want to know what Pantoja under 2.5 round submission is. And then after that, I love Josh Van's money line. I really think Josh Van's going to get it done against Pantoja, man. I think Pantoja is too physical. Pantoja can get to the back off the fence. I mean, that's why I think early, but Pantoja, we can agree that we see him slow down, even though he fights through the grit and the pace. And again, man, how old is Pantoja? Is Pantoja 35 now? Is Pantoja 35 now? Let me see how old Pantoja is. God, Pantoja's fought everybody, man. He's 35, man. That 35-year-old curse, man. It's not even a curse. It's a statistic. It's an absolute statistic. And men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Numbers don't. Let me go see this Pantoja. I want to make this parlay here on Bet365. Let me see this here. My apologies, y'all. They don't even have it open yet. What? No way. Yeah, he fights. He absolutely fights through exhaustion. That's one thing you always have to give Pantoja his credit for. He always fights through exhaustion. They don't have props as of right now on Pantoja Van. They did it on Bet365. Dude, they don't have props out yet. No way. Little Showtime, what's up? Vong by decision in my pocket. I see a lot of people are on Vong by decision. I just like the odds on Vong by stoppage. Younger fighter coming to the fighter after downloading 10 rounds a date or prior. If he comes in with the body game plan with Davison and continues to beat up the body, Gwen can age overnight. Just even though Gwen's not even that old, man, he just feels like he has a lot of mileage on him. Especially, what was that bloody fight? Was it Chamberlain? That bloody ass fight, man. Holy shit. Pantoja absolutely fights through exhaustion, but doesn't mean that his pace and cardio aren't questionable. Even though they fight through exhaustion, it just has moments. And Joshua Van, I know it's an old sparring clip. You saw the old sparring clip versus Sean O'Malley where he got body kicked and he literally TKO'd in a sparring clip at the MMA lab. Who's the best body puncher in flyweight right now? Who's the best body puncher in flyweight right now? It's a pretty easy answer if you ask me, brother. Like the best body puncher by a country mile, bro. By a country mile in the flyweight division is Joshua Van. Like I absolutely love Joshua Van, man, in this case here for you. I think just his money line is just tough, man. It's just absolutely tough here for you. So yeah, I don't know. Just some thoughts here. I think early sub Pantoja, bang. I think the later the fight goes, Joshua Van is going to rip up that body. Bow, 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 bow. Give your prediction on Yakubov Chacon. I think Yakubov's younger, fresher, bounces in and out, good movement. I like Yakubov. I like what I saw against Yakubov against William Foster in his last work. I thought he fought at good ranges from all levels, from the inside to the outside. And when he needed the rounds in later rounds, you saw him pull it on William Foster, 8 through 10. I really enjoy his work here. Christian is good, man. Christian's good. His Romain Villa fight stands out specifically in my head that he fought tough and he fought gritty while getting popped. I think he's not cutting down to 126 anymore. He's at 130, if I'm not mistaken, or is this fight at 135? But I just think Yakubov's going to be the fresher legs, the younger, the better fighter, just the overall better fighter, in my opinion. Even though Christian may have a slight volume edge and a grit edge, this fight is similar to did you see the Erdenbot fight last week versus ProBox versus, was it Montoya? The Mongolian mole, pulling him into traps all night, moving, angling, and just being the younger, more athletic fighter with the better base. So I think it's going to be very similar to the Erdenbot fight we saw last week on ProVox. So I like Yakubov a lot personally over Chacon. I don't even know what the odds are on him. If anyone has the odds, if you guys could let me know, I'll pull them up on my phone. If not, what's fight goes the distance? Fight goes the decision. What's FDG? I don't know if you're asking me or if you're telling me, like, what's the fight goes the distance? Because they don't have props yet. Mike Tyler, brother, love from the UK. Hope you're doing well, bro. If you guys don't know, Mike Tyler, 10-0 boxer right now. I'm sorry if it may be 11-0, but he's undefeated boxer right now, chasing his dreams. Make sure y'all go give Mike Tyler some love. Follow his story. Follow him as a actual fighter from the UK, actually doing the damn thing. Much love and respect, brother. I appreciate you, man. I have to be completely honest with you, man. It always makes me feel good when real fighters actually listen to my content. So thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. I think I'm going to tape Whitaker over 5.5 before I play. I doubt Whitaker's power, but I can trust this man's survivability. See, I don't think the German's as big of a can as everyone's making it seem, man. I think he has some good shape, sturdiness, some good base to him. He's fought in long rounds against some decent level of competition here too as well. The travel could be an issue. UK refs could always be an issue here, man, but I love the over 5.5. Let me know what you think about the over 5.5 when you has a chance to tape. Fight doesn't go the distance. Yeah, doesn't go the distance. I think Van Pantoja is the play, is a great play. Pantoja sub earlier. I think Van breaks him down to the body late. That's exactly how I see the fight going. That's why I think playing Joshua Van is going to be absolutely incredible after round 1, possibly, just because Pantoja, if he gets his back at that point, Joshua Van has good submission defense and he's continuously moving. He does a lot of sharp things too as well, but Joshua Van is a little bit chinny. That's one thing to be note that I think we always have to know. He got cracked bad against Silva. He got cracked, as we saw, against Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, I think, is the biggest threat in a 5-round fight to any flyweight in the UFC, period. Like, legitimately, bro, legitimately, I can say that. So his 5-round cardio is something to be bothered with. So holy shit, guys. I just realized we've been going for almost an hour. So yeah, man, I appreciate everyone that's been joining in. I'm going to leave it up for about 5 more minutes. Then I'm going to wrap it up because I'm still working from home today. So I have to actually get a little bit of work done. And then I want to tape a little bit more for this weekend. Like I said, my favorite place for boxing this weekend, let me re-go over all of them. I think the draw is very live for Pierce Parra. I like Pierce decision too as well, personally. Watch that fight live, because if you like Parra knockout, where someone like Elijah Pierce that's defensively void, plus 500 for a knockout, absolutely insane odds. No doubt worth a sprinkle. I will also be sprinkling it. Feels like a cop-out because I have 3 separate ways I'm playing the fight, but it's just the way it is with a close fight, man. Love Ben Whitaker over 5.5. I will be taking Frazier Clark by points and that fight to go to the decision at plus money. I like Cameron Wong by knockout plus 300, and I like Ben Whitaker by decision plus 300. All plays that I really like this weekend here for you. Ben Whitaker over 5.5 is my favorite play of the weekend, though. That is my, if you had to put a 5-star bet on it, that's my 5-star bet. I really love Ben Whitaker over 5.5. Hey, if you guys are betting NFL this morning, they gave us Saquon Barkley at even money, -110 to -115, depending on your book. I don't give a shit if Saquon Barkley's having some regression. I put $100 on that bad boy. On ESPN Bet is where I played it. I already played 2 units on it here, and I'm going to pull it up for full transparency purposes. And I want to see if I got any EV on it, which highly doubtful. But yeah, this morning we got Saquon right there for you, -115. I love it personally here. All 3 starting linebackers for the Bears are out. Worst 28th ranked rushing defense in the NFL versus Saquon Barkley, who's a tough-nosed, gritty offensive line player. So yes, sir. Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown. I know this is boxing MMA combat channel, but hey, I'm just letting you know, full transparency, what I'm playing. I put 2 units on it here for you, which a unit for me this year is $50. God bless, God willing. We're raising it to 100 next year, y'all. So Charles, man, he doesn't do himself any favors. I want to see him in a 5-round fight, bro. Charles in a 5-round fight beats everybody. He beats everybody at the flyweight division. That may sound crazy. If he doesn't get cracked, I think he beats everybody at the flyweight division in a 5-round fight. So, but yeah, guys, I really appreciate you guys joining me. I really appreciate you guys jumping in. As always, you guys already know what it is. It's love, it's peace, it's chicken grease. Until next time, appreciate y'all.